Alright, what's going on? This is Unplugged. I'm feeling good, feeling great from the Great Lakes State. I wanted to touch on a few things today. And as always happens, as soon as I cut this thing on, I've been misplaced something. But I had a few things I wanted to share. First of all, I can do this freestyle, I know, because it really blessed me to hear some good news yesterday. You know, we've heard a lot of bad news. I want to share with you the good news. That's what we're supposed to do. Isaiah 61 anointing is supposed to set the captives free and preach the good news. Sometimes it doesn't seem like there's much good news to preach, I admit. And I had said also when I was talking with a fellow researcher, I said, you know, we need to give people some hope too. You know, everybody likes a horror movie, everybody likes bad news. Bad news travels fast. But at the same time, there's a lot of good things that go on that get underreported because we're in a demonic system that's designed to feed us negativity, and so we in turn give back negativity. It's like a concert. The entertainer gives energy, and he also receives energy from the people. By the way, I mentioned that because I've heard people talking about the two major concerts going on this weekend. One is Eminem and Rihanna. I didn't hear nobody really too geeked up about that one, but there's another concert that people are usually looking forward to here in Detroit. Kim, the R&B artist, he was a homeless man in Detroit. That's real talk. That's not just publicity and propaganda. He really was homeless, and he was in the homeless shelters. I know it for a fact. And he gives back. And so he does a yearly concert/food drive. It's free. The last time I went to one, it was in 2012, and you saw a lot of regular, real people out there, and people that were obviously, still in search of a place to stay. And that's something that, some people look down upon, and they have all kind of derogatory names for that. But a lot of people who are following the way, okay, will find that as being a potential challenge for them as well. Okay, having a secure, steady, consistent place to dwell. And there's a lot of things being done to challenge that. You know, a lot of people lost their homes during the big refinancing push, which was one of the plots and plans, baiting a trap with cheese, getting something for nothing, believing that you get these few stacks up front for signing over your house to the bank, and then if you keep up these high payments, you can keep your house. But the payments become too high, and of course people live beyond their means oftentimes, even when they're struggling and striving with 9-to-5s. So you put a lot of money in somebody's hand who's not used to being a good steward over that or managing it, and things happen like you heard happen. And that's one of the reasons the houses in Detroit prices and values have dropped the way that they did. And you have some of the issues that you have here that a lot of you know about, and you also find in other major cities. And that was partly a result of that. But people who are challenged in that manner, do be encouraged. So was the Messiah. He was challenged in that way. Please believe it. He said, foxes have holes, birds have nests, but the Son of Man have not a place to rest, not a place to lay his head. Okay, and he went from place to place. He was a missionary. All right, but he relied on the Father to provide. Okay, we don't worry about things, but I do want to give a big shout out to Brother Kim. We know what the business is about. Okay, sometimes people get in and they can't get out. Sometimes, we talked about it before. We talked about it a number of times, even on the broadcast with Scariest movie ever with Brother KJ, we talked about how, people get surprised. They don't mean to get jammed up in that manner. Their intent is to get paid for what they made, to use their creativity to provide for them income. And why not? Why shouldn't you be able to use the gifts that the Creator gave you to provide for yourself? And so we don't know what the situation was with that brother, how because for a while he was very below the radar, Kim was, and now, he's got songs with people who we know about what's really going on behind the scenes. So it'd be hard to believe that certain things aren't challenging him right now. So you keep him in your prayers, because what I can tell and discern is a person's spirit. I can tell it from an email. I can tell it from the look in their eye, body language. It's part of deliverance ministry to be able to do that. Okay, to be able to tell where a person's spirit is at. All right, and that shines through a lot of different ways. So yes, I may even check it out. He's gonna be there with the OJs, I believe. Mercy. But we'll see what happens. But it's a free concert. It's usually held on Mack and 3rd Avenue, and I'm sure they got a lot of the quote-unquote street people to come out the last time, and perhaps that may have some bearing on why now it's behind the riverfront, which is y'all look at it as an apartment building that Martin lived in on the Martin show, but it's a hotel. Some people live at hotels, but it's a riverfront hotel, and it's rather exclusive. But anyway, enough about that. But that's just the energy in the air today. As we talked about, we're moving out of the season of one particular astrological energy, as we know that the powers that be follow that religiously, literally, and we're moving into another. And there's no coincidence. They hold concerts on certain times. You remember the Lilith Fair. The people who throw concerts are often involved in the occult, and they understand the best days, they believe, to get certain energy waves, okay, to help to feed the artists and to help to feed them. Because if you get a lot of people geeked up and excited, you sell more things, and you sell more tickets first and foremost. But while the people are there, the vendors and whatnot, they do better, and oftentimes the promoters getting a little taste of that, a little cut of that. But that's not the good news. The good news is, for those of you who have had some issues with oppression, or someone who has some issues with oppression, with depression, or possession, okay, let me tell you this. The worse the case, or you can reword it another way, the more challenging the bondage seems to be, is directly related to how powerful you're going to be. I know this. Okay? It's not something I'm speculating. Some of you want to argue the point, and the point is moot, that there is no this and there is no that. All you know is what you've read, okay, and the knowledge that's up under your hat, and it's not worth very much. You challenge someone with experience, you will fall flat. I had the same knowledge, read the same books, and by experience, testing out what I've read, I saw many of the things that are counted as true by the most credible sources are lies. And it's because, who do we give our credibility to? People who get no respect in the Most High's eyes. There's no respect of persons. So just because, people have degrees, and again, they're called degrees in the scholastic world, they're called degrees in the Masonic world. What a coincidence, a coincidence. But they try to teach you the things that they teach you so that the power and love of the Creator and the Messiah will never reach you. That's the goal. Okay, it's easy to question things. There's nothing wrong with questioning the thing, but know the difference between what you believe, what you think, and what you know. Okay, what you read is only about what you believe and what you think, what you've tried out, practical application over a period of time, several instances and examples. That's part of the scientific model. So you're not even being scientific by spewing out to me what you've read. You must really think I can't read. Much more well versed at some things than you might believe. I'm sorry, I'm just a brother from Detroit. I can't help it. I look like this. Okay. Maybe if I came on here with a whole different demeanor and style and whatever, maybe you take what I say as having some weight. But you think you know about all brothers. You think all brothers was raised up in the church. No, I was raised with occultists, baby boy. In the bloodline. Okay, who studied these things extensively. Grandfather was an avid reader. Okay, so was my father. And he didn't have ordinary books. Yeah, he had Players magazine back there, but he had some heavy hitters too. Please believe it. And as soon as I went digging around for the Players magazines, I found the other ones. So, to make a long story short, when you hear this testimony from me, believers, you will rejoice. But, non-believers, one day you'll have no choice. One day you'll see. Okay? Keep living. Hear me now, believe me later. But yes, the most severe oppression is because of the enemy's fear of that individual. Can I say it again? That's right, the most severe oppression. I've seen this before. Okay? There's no time and space in the spirit realm. So the enemy and the demons know different things about, and of course the strongmen demons boss around the baby bears, and they have some foreknowledge. That's how they get in people and let them tell certain aspects of the future. That's how they could get in the individual and have the individual, by way of them speaking, say that the planes was going to fall. Before it happened, y'all. It's proved, it's documented. It's on here. Okay? Alright. Talking about H2O. And I think it was lightweight jammin, water in Detroit, and planes. But anyhow, I've said that before. Sometimes I gotta say it again. What's overstood ain't got to be explained. Okay. But when a person is under those heavy levels of bondage, please believe it's because the enemy is trying very hard to keep them from becoming what the enemy knows they will become. Okay? Their foreknowledge of things is proven. Okay? So they understand who you are and the power that you have. And if you have no power, if you ain't no threat, they keep it moving. They ain't worried about you. Okay? Certain people are already on that path, and they don't even have to get bothered. Okay? People that struggle, okay, and need deliverance and are struggling with things. These are the real queens and kings. Okay? Who is my mother and who is my brother but those that do the will of my Father. And those people that the enemy really is worried about getting out here and really being a force against demons and against demonically motivated individuals. Some people is just, they're just puppets. Okay, because their minds are weak and they have aligned themselves to thinking that demons are easy to tweak. Okay. If you sit on a certain frequency, you tune into them all day long. You don't even realize it. And they really get down by you not believing that they're in there. Denial. Okay? Denial. Pride. Can't nothing be in me. Ain't nothing in me. Everybody deal with something. Okay? It's about how much power and control by bowing down your soul. You have. You have been given. Meant that by the Creator. Okay? Just keep living. So it's come to my attention that the most challenged individuals become the greatest warriors. Those who will do even greater works. Look at how Messiah was tested. Are you ready? You are ready. It's time. It's time for y'all to begin. Okay? Don't doubt it. Be about it. Or be without it. Get out there. Take your true power. Everybody wants some kind of power. Okay? Some smoke a flower to believe they got some kind of power. Some people read magic books for an hour a day and don't do nothing but give their power away. You want real power in this demonic world, in this realm of spirit beings. You have to know how to take power by the guidelines. And I'm going to read a couple of things to you. I wanted to make some comments, put some thumbs up on some things. It's not letting me. Okay, that happens sometimes. We know what it is. You know, I can click on everything I want to, except for that. It's a coincidence. Small thing to a giant. But so yes, it's confirmed. It's what I suspected, but it's confirmed. So know that about yourself. You know, don't get down. You know, if you've ever seen the horror movie Emily Rose, you might have wondered at the end, like I did. Now, why did the Creator let this person, this believer, go through what they went through? You know, and as I watched the movie, you know, that was bothering me. And I knew what time it was when I was watching that movie. And you know, I chalked it up to, well, horror movie directors, part of their job is to make it seem like the devil is all powerful. And so I chalked it up to that. But now, with experience, see, you think you know something until you experience something. So now by experience, I understand. No. If you're in a accelerated class, your tests are harder. Look at what Messiah had to go through, the tests that he had to go through. And if you're going to do greater works, there's going to be some tests. You know, I don't want to fix my mouth to say greater tests. But doesn't that make some sense? Okay, at least by my meager mind. Okay, by my small 5.5, 6 ounces of brain. But thank you to Sister Elizabeth for turning me on to that video. I didn't get to the part. I'm gonna watch it later. I didn't get to the part where Detroit was mentioned, but I have looked at some of the works from this site, AfricanAmericans.org. Very interesting for those who are still questioning their origin and whatnot. You know, I know sometimes I can be a little less focused on that than I was when I was younger, only because I'm older and I'm sold on certain things. But you got to be willing to share, okay? And as big on, you know, to some of y'all, and big bruh to others, and little bruh to still others. You know, if part of my charge by the Most High is to instruct, and that means you have to be able to instruct where people is at, okay, and things that people want to know. So, and that's okay, because I don't have a problem with framing things in a certain way that shouldn't make nobody feel no type of way. I take gladness in being able to do that. deal with the fact like it's a fact, like a teacher, like a scientist, like a doctor should. Okay, some people's too into trying to make you feel bad, mad, glad, or good. Okay, my job ain't to make you feel a certain type of way, but I will tell the truth, and that's what I intend to display. Okay, I don't just show and tell, I show and prove. Do I not? But anyhow, we're going to look at the Testament of Solomon. Also, our sister Dice Girl 72. I looked at a video of hers yesterday about the Apis bull coat and a relationship to that medicine with the bull on it, the sun god representation. The bull is Apis. The bull god thing, we've gone through that many times, but I found it interesting. But even more importantly, she was used by the Most High to spark me towards some thought and to get back into this Testament of Solomon, if it's loaded yet. Some strange things going on with the technology. It's buffering like never before, spinning round and round. So we're gonna see if we can get to that. If not, I'm going to look at some of the comments that I was unable to get to and comment on them. And I'm feeling good today. I'm feeling good today because, I was very worried that, an Emily Rose type of situation was at hand. And, the Creator had to show me, we're not the ones that do the healing. We facilitate. Like the doctor. Does the doctor heal you? The Lord will put the doctor in front of you who has the right experience, the right training. But it's the Creator that does the healing. Okay? Some of you don't believe that. That's all right. I ain't asked you what you believed. But it's true. Keep living, keep learning. So, we're not the ones. So we got to give it up to something greater. If you can't give it up to something greater now, you give it up to something greater later. Believe it. You think you know more than Crowley? You really probably do. I doubt it. And Crowley acted like he was about it until he was laying on his deathbed talking about, I'm perplexed, meaning he did not have a clue. Things wasn't the way he thought they was. They didn't end the way he wanted them to. What about Anton LaVey? Somebody gonna jump on and say, that's not true about Anton LaVey. I'm sure that the Satanists have screwed that. Okay, but, what do I know? And I looked at UFOs, nice flows. I really enjoyed it. I grinned, put a grin on my chin, and I laughed out loud. I don't like to use the word proud, but if I did, that's what I would say. Very good, very good. I enjoyed it. I really did. So without further ado, let's look at a few things and then see where this Testament of Solomon is at, if it's popped up. Because, what I wanted to show was, based on a question that, at least at the time of that video, was raised by our sister here, Nice Girl 72. The question was, and it's a question on a lot of minds. When I get to the email, we're gonna get to another question on a lot of minds. It's no longer on minds, so I have to share what I know. Otherwise, that makes you Illuminati low to the flow. But the question was, are all of these gods and goddesses? I'm gonna lose 100 subscribers. Beat it. Pat your feet on the concrete. Kick rocks down the block. But she wanted to know, was the Egyptian, were they inherently bad? Well, I told some of you about the experiences I had. And, do you know who X-Clan is? Bruh. I was 18, 17, 18. Yeah, I was 17 first when X-Clan came on the scene, and they rocked my knot. My mind was gone. I took my high school picture. Y'all to go to Facebook, you seen it with my beads on. Okay, I had my dreads going up high, like a high top fade. Okay, and I was so, and I mean, prior to that, I was already equated with the fact that it had something to do with magic. See, because I would see certain names in the magic books that belonged to my forebears, the patriarchs. And so when X-Clan came along, it just turned that up, past 10. And I was rocking my aunt and calling myself Amentet, play off of Amentet, and play off the fact that, when I picked Amentet or Tahuti as my favorite deity, I didn't know two things that even cinched me in more. I didn't know that Thoth is where you get Theos, is where you get Theo. Until later. When I found that out later, could you imagine? My head swole up. But then, found out Tahuti, where you get the word Jedi. Judah, D-J-E-D-I. Jedi. Drop the D. You got Jedi straight off. You can play with Judah. You can get Yoda too. We know, we're not. Come on. But anyhow, I say all that to say. And I read the Book of Coming Forth by Day and by Night. And I do remember reading about Hermes Thrice Great. And of course, I would have read the Emerald Tablets of Thoth, at least as they were reprinted in the early Holy Tabs. If I didn't go get one, I just really didn't remember, brother. I was asked about that today. But the point is, I was a good student when it came to reading. I got only F in trigonometry. It just wasn't triggering with me. I hated Pythagorean and all the rest of them. I was sitting in class so mad I couldn't learn. I couldn't wait to get out of that class. I was mad at the teacher, mad at the students that could do it right. But my mother knew, and everybody else knew, that's that new math. And she didn't like math neither, so she gave me a pass. She saw how I excelled at other stuff that made sense to her, so she didn't even trip about that. Matter of fact, she looked at the card and she laughed. And I felt a ton of relief. I really think she's going to be mad because I had all A's. I had like 2 B's or something, but, I would never challenge that learning. I liked to learn. I was the only child for quite a while. And I was entertained with books. So I say that to say, when it came time to get into this Egypt thing, I was on a tear. And I'm talking about when your mind is functioning 100. I wasn't smoking weed like I did in my 20s. Then, we hit a joint every now and then. It wasn't, I know it wasn't putting the hammers on me like it did once I got around the age of when the Chronic album came out. Then it was all about smoke as much as you could. Smoke weed every day. And that just changed the whole dynamic, the way that you think. Yes, it does. No doubt about it. Okay? It messes up your pineal gland and its ability to produce melanin. It messes up your ability to recall things. Okay? There's a number of things that you don't want done. But anyway, I know about those deities, okay? I made it my business to get in contact with them through deep concentration and meditation, okay? To be intimately connected with the Neteru, okay? intimately as far as bringing them close to me, not none of that action between Set and Horus. It was in there. I'm sorry. I remember that. It traumatized me. Don't tell me it wasn't. Don't tell me it's not in yours. Maybe yours ain't old as mine was. I had a habit and a penchant too for going places like, going to old bookstores. Okay, bookstores has been around for a long time. They got a lot of old books. I picked up on that. So the older the book, the better. Because when I first found the old dudes' books, when they was old and worn and stuff, I said, well, this is some heavy stuff. Heavy as a Chevy. So I went to the bookstores, being game goofy. I went to the libraries too. I found a couple things at the library. I wanted to keep the books, so I didn't go to the library too much for that type of stuff. I went to the bookstores. The bookstores had all these new, lightweight jamming type of books. I'm like, straight on this. And I got turned on to some places where you really go if you want to know. So y'all know what I'm talking about. So you may not have certain things in your books today, but yes, in the Testament of Solomon, you also find references to the fact that whole dynamic behind being gay. Anal sex, and some people do it because they don't know they're gay. I meant to say it that way. But it's a demonic force behind it. Okay? That's in the Testament of Solomon. You also find it in the Book of the Dead. So coming forth by day and by night. The Temple of Set was behind this particular great oppression. One of their symbols, one of the things used to program the individual was a scarab beetle ring. So don't talk to me about the kepara or the kespera. Some books are spelled one way, some books are spelled another. I've read more books than you on the subject. I do believe. Okay? And not only, I wasn't just into reading books. I wanted action. I wanted to know, just like, certain things you got to get out in this big bad world and learn. Okay? I was a Taurus on a tear, willing to get out there in all kind of different ways. Okay? Mentally, physically, financially. Okay? Took a lot of penitentiary chances in cemetery too, just so I can sit here and tell you you shouldn't waste your time trying to do. So yes, those beings are nothing but the Egyptian forms of demons, and I'm going to tell you another thing you can put as evidence of that you can draw from the Testament of Solomon. And if it's not up, then you bring it up. Maybe they're not in your computer like they in mine, but at one time, all these demons stand in a line, a whole crew of them. They all look like Egyptian beings. Let me quote from Testament of Solomon. I know I got that in my notes. I wrote that down. One of them that came to him was a giant dog. Atomic dog. Came to him. But there was a whole crew of them. So where's the wording? Page 1. I hope that the Book of Solomon pulls up. Because we'll just find that in there. I don't see it on my notes, but I know I put it in there. I just can't tell. A lot of writing. Still twisting and turning. Let's see how far it did load up. Go down here a few pages. See what's happening. But yes, he called up he kept asking for them to come and appear before him. And then lo and behold, a whole crew popped up. She's on this page, and it's not. Okay. No, I ain't telling no tale. It's in there. Just look. Okay, we still scrolling. Okay, we good. Still scrolling down. Now it's just spinning at the top, buffering, as if it didn't load the whole book. Or it's still loading, whatever. Let's see. Okay, did we get to Asmodeus? Which was the name of the one? Yeah, we did. I remember that. Okay. Old dude in them brought up Asmodeus. I never will forget that name. And, you know, have confidence. Confidence is not conceit. Have confidence and know that this is something you could beat. You're made to beat it. Okay? You're made to beat it. They're made to be defeated. To make an open show of the enemy. Okay? It's in you to do it. Who gonna do it? Okay? Pastor Pork Chopping them ain't thinking about it. They ain't trying to get to it. And you don't have to make no, don't make no open show of yourself. Okay, this is the women. Did we get to the women? Deception and strife in there? I believe right after them came this other crew. So there's a crew of women who called up, or demons that take female form. But yes, one of them came to him. I think we got to that one in the presence of a hound. I do believe we got to that one. His name was Staff. Okay. Remember, every time Solomon did his thing, he praised the God of heaven and earth to remind us that read the Testament that we're only vessels. Okay. You have to be a willing vessel to be used, but he can use a rock. Okay, he can use a rock. Okay. Don't never think you're special. That's when he'll bring you low. Okay. That's what brotherhood members jam themselves up with, believing that they special. Some people that's not brotherhood members, they just want to be in the in crowd, some kind of way. You know, they want to be, so they just want to be revered, respected of men. They'll get theirs in the end.
Oh, might we get cranberry? Or did he have cranberry? I think we'll use that.
Okay, I believe. Okay. Now I'm going to skip through some of these, and I'm going to go to the crew. If it made it up here, I believe that it did.
I say sterile is on the bottom.
Yeah, it's real clear.
Yeah.
Okay. So you continue to praise. You know, the old folks, some of the old folks' ways need to stay. Okay. You saw your grandma praise, your auntie praise, some of you your uncles and granddaddies, some of you. Okay. The last time you gave a shout, let it all out. You shouted when you was mad, didn't you? You shouted when you was bad, didn't you? Shout. Give him praise. If I wasn't in public, I'd do it right now. You're not in public right now. Give him a shout. Just tell him thank you. Thank you for all you do for me. And I don't deserve it. We do deserve it. It's your problem. No, you don't. Your righteousness is as filthy rags. Okay? And you're still going to get to do greater works than the Messiah. How's that for some love? Okay? But, and King King Solomon had it like that. Wise and rich as cream. I'm trying to see exactly where that place was at, because I just knew I had the page marked and everything in my notes. I thought we saw more angelic beings, and yes, you know, I take to, you know, be creative. You know, you are a creation of the Creator. Why not be creative? Why not be creative in your prayers? Say, whatsoever you loose, whatsoever you bind. There's no qualifications on that. So anything you ask, touching and agreeing in my name. That's two different parts of the book. So you have both of those at your disposal. Some of you would dispose of both of those. Okay? You won't even test it out. Try it. Practical application. There's some relationship. That's what people think the game come in at and the flip come in at. But belief ain't hard to generate. Okay? You might believe you can fly, R. Kelly, but you ain't finna lift up off this ground. Okay? When you see the swamis and different ones do that type of stuff, and I know it can be done, no doubt about it. It's because they empty themselves out, so a spirit being can come in, and the spirit being does the lifting, baby. You ain't lifting yourself. You said the same thing with the Holy Spirit. No, it ain't, because the Creator blesses and adds no sorrow to it. The spirit being, you owe them something. You have somebody do something for you, only so in the end they can jam you up. That's what demons do. Holy Spirit don't do that. Okay? The Most High don't do that. Okay? So, transcendental meditation ain't gonna get it. Okay? I love Stevie Wonder, Jesus Children of America. And maybe I'll do one more real quick, all depend on the time. Time looking kind of shady. Because I wanted to share with y'all my secular music playlist. And it's only secular technically. Got a lot of songs. Of course, I got a playlist of songwriter secret songs that I use when I get around folks that I believe I can open up to that. Okay? I got an instrumental playlist of dope instrumentals made by my main man, 50 grand again and again and again. And then, and you know, one or two I made back in the day that I could get put on this ancient Android here. But my point is, I had wanted to share those with y'all too. UFOs kind of inspired me to that because of you know, he was sharing his songs and whatnot, and I thought to myself, now, you know, you're a good artist, but I do believe that, you know, the way that works when you listen to music and do art, which, you know, I'm not foreign to that, different ways I've done the same thing. The music that you're listening to will shape the way you create. It will, because the energy behind the artist, the intent from the artist, and by that intent and vibration that the artist is putting out, it's a signal. And that signal reaches throughout the realms, and it will indeed bring spirit beings to come to the helm. And they will come and steer you. They'll steer you wrong, or they'll steer you strong. So it's a few things that, you know, I know people don't want to listen to gospel all the time, and you know, perhaps you should, but I don't. But when I'm not listening to gospel, and of course I've got a Detroit gospel list, you know who on there, please believe it. A couple things you wouldn't notice on there too. But when I'm not listening to gospel, I've also got a regular gospel list. I got a Detroit gospel list and a I got a Detroit gospel list and a regular gospel list. But when I'm not listening to that, I like to listen to music that's pleasing sonically to my body. And I like to be bombarded by, I mean, you know, all of it ain't soft, but I don't like to be bombarded by things that feel like negative vibrations. You got good vibrations, you got bad vibrations. And then secondly, I'm a person that thinks of the lyrics. So I do have quite a catalog of songs with the lyrics. It was 100. Wouldn't be classified as gospel by what we know it as. One song, for example, and then we're going to get back to the Solomon. So we get up out of here. One song, for example, is Marvin Gaye, Praise. And then another song is Marvin Gaye, oh, don't talk about my father. God is my friend. That's my junk. I love that song. And is it gospel? It was on the What's Going On out. You know, I like funky music. I don't like stale sounding type of music. You know, I like funky music and I like fresh beats. I know what beat is fresh. Okay, Schoolboy Q, that beat is fresh. I like filtered beats. You know, I was a contemporary Jay Dilla. You know, we was doing the thing at the same time. So, you know, I was from a class of folk that, you know how to put some beats together. But, you know, I like a certain sound. So, I will probably share that with y'all if we can hurry up and go through this real quick. Because I do believe this was the last thing I really wanted to show this based on looking at Dice Girl's video. I know I lost my page. Lord help me. Okay, here it is. Let me just tear this off of here. Okay, play around. Alright. Came before my face another enslaved spirit, having obscurely the form of a man with gleaming eyes and bearing in his hand a blade. It was a bunch of them. And I commanded another, here we go. Thank you, Creator. Guide my tongue, guide my mind, guide my heart, in line with your will, that your will be done. That you be seen, but we be unseen. For you are invincible and I am invisible, Father. Alright, and Solomon. Let me tell you where it is. Let me see. Looks like verse 72, right? It was one long verse. Okay, verse 72. Testament of Solomon. This gives you a clue to the real identity of the Egyptian Neteru, parading as gods and goddesses, deceiving the first kings of the earth, even as you see depicted on the ancient temple of Hathor. Okay? And they did deceive them, did they not? They promised them eternal life. Which one of them still living? Where you live at, Chicago? They were deceived. Psalms 2 and 2. 72. And I commanded another demon to come before me. And there came before my face 36 spirits, their heads shapeless like dogs, but in themselves they were human in form, with faces of asses, faces of oxen, faces of birds, faces of dogs. And I, Solomon, on hearing and seeing them, wondered, and I asked them and said, who are you? But they all of one accord with one voice said, we are the 36 elements, the world rulers of this darkness. But, O King Solomon, thou wilt not wrong us nor imprison us, nor lay command on us. But since the Lord God has given thee authority over every spirit in the air and on the earth and under the earth, therefore do we also present ourselves before thee like the other spirits, from ram and bull, from both twin and crab, lion and virgin, scales and scorpion, archer, goat horn, water porter, and fish. Okay. Did that help you any? I don't know. Maybe it did. Maybe it didn't. Okay, we're gonna look through the. We're gonna cut this one off, and I'm gonna cut it in two because some of you might want to see this, not want to see the other one, and vice versa. So, for those that watch both, I appreciate you, and I thank you. I thank you very much for spending some time with me today. I miss you all. I love you all in a special way. Oh yeah, I want to look at. Okay, one more thing too. We're gonna end with a prayer and an email question. And the way that the Most High led for me to answer it. I found one on one source and one on the other. Maybe we'll do it that way. Okay, I got one loaded up already, so this prayer is not my own. Okay, let me go here. Where's A1? Here we go. Revised prayer. I swore I already had it loaded in there. I know I did. Okay. Are we through with Solomon for now? Perhaps I'll X that out. But yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I also had he's still my buddy, but we ain't spoken so long. Good friend of mine. He had a vision. He didn't know nothing about the Egyptian deities. He didn't know one from another. He didn't even know how they looked. He was a DJ, and he told me what he saw in a vision was human people walking around with animal heads, and they was at Northland Mall. Okay. What does he know, right? But that's part of the Jasher deception too. Okay. They will be mixing and matching and going on. They will make bestiality as normal as threesomes. That's how they do things in increments. They stepping on the gas now. Transsexuals are now accepted, and they wasn't before. So let me just look back a little text here. I know I've got it right here. Okay, I got the question and answer. We're in with the prayer. Okay, let's go to the question and answer. Because it's froze up. What can I do? Okay. Like I said, I'm not going to put it out there who had the question, but some of you have the question, so it's all in fairness, is it not? Okay, lately I've been wrestling with certain things having to do with the Bible, and I was wondering if you could lend some perspective. Okay, and I prayed and I asked for the Lord to guide me every day before I get ready to come your way. So it wouldn't be me doing the guiding, but it's overstood, ain't got to be explained. Okay. It's not my perspective. I try to give the true perspective. Is the entire Bible the inerrant word of God? For example, the Exodus, what the Jews cite as their history. Does it need to be inerrant? Means without error, without error, in order to accept the gospel of Christ? There are some good questions. That's number 2. And number 3, the Old Testament is such a different animal than the New? Question mark. Okay. I understand what he's saying. I have read certain books that assert that Moses may have been serving the Midianite god Jahve, Jahve, okay, which is not the same as Jehovah. Frankly, I believe Moses was a fabrication. Interesting. I know I don't, but you're going to see some things. And there's some reasons why. Different reasons, different strokes for different folks, right? Different reasons why they don't want certain people to believe, and different reasons why they don't want certain other people to believe, and different reasons why they want another people to look at him as the man, and not Messiah. So there's lots of tricks concerning Moses, which tends to make me, you gotta have some game about yourself. No, okay, this is somebody who they really don't want you to know. Come on. Have some game. It's almost as if they removed Enoch and replaced him with Moses. Enoch served one purpose, Moses another. The reason I say this is during the Transfiguration, Elijah and Moses appeared because Moses was who brought the Israelites out of the bondage of what we just got through talking about this whole video of the Egyptian Neteru, which was just the spirit beings, the Nephilim and their descendants, the fallen and their descendants who came down and deceived the kings and queens, okay, and gave them great riches. Same thing they do today. Watch Roger Morneau interview. It make a lot of sense to you what these people be into. Okay, they use the conjuring arts, call up spirit beings, and they call up a great many Egyptian beings. Don't tell me about it. How many have you called? They call up a great many Egyptian beings to get them, to give them stuff, just like it was done in the original bluff, because it was a bluff. Okay. Elijah and Moses appeared. Moses died before the promised land. Only Elijah and Enoch were taken up to heaven by God permanently. So by that rationale, only Elias and Enoch should be there, using my reasoning. My ways are not your ways, and my thoughts are not your thoughts, saith the Lord. So it seems strange, looking from my visual eyes, trying to understand things with my reasoning and logic. So it seems strange that he should appear with Elijah, and I'm not at all condemning. Let me tell you, ain't no dumb question, but one you don't ask. So I'm not at all condemning, but nobody knows, and ain't nobody gonna know. But because it's between us, but it's between all of us as well. Okay, because some of the new people, or some new people that come, they're gonna have the same question, the same type of question. And then number 4, he said, not to mention. Okay, well, talked about dealing with the spirit of anger for the last one. All right, so I tried to answer all of that. He said, very good questions, and all based upon the academic and scholarly, in parentheses, illuminated, observation and examination of holy and spiritual things. Left brain analysis of right brain concepts. Western linear logic-based reasoning about the most ancient and illogical belief systems. Remember, Brother J, the illogical one. Okay. That's a different type of thinking. Right brain thinking is different than left brain thinking. I said. First, before we deal with those questions, my friend and brother in the Lord, almighty, eternal, immeasurable, infinite, all-knowing, all-seeing, creator of the world seen and unseen, unclean and divine, transcending all of space and time, whose thoughts are not our thoughts and whose ways are not our ways. That's right, he said he created everything. As a mere speck, even those of us with the highest heights of intellect, is it reasonable or believable to assume that we could know all of the workings of the mind of God? I have a sense of humor. Didn't your teachers help you learn those that have some humor versus those that act like a tumor? So do you have a lady friend? Do you know all of the workings of her mind? Parentheses, honestly, be for real though, LOL. So do you believe in a God as big as those things that I said in my meager, minuscule mind's description of his depiction? If you do believe in a creator that large and in charge, how then could he impart things to man, his creation, and then this created man be able to outsmart the Creator and tamper with and take out the holy and unmovable, supernaturally infused word of the Lord now or later? The answer to your questions lie in this question. How big is your God? Are the professors and scholars who tell lies for dollars and are always a part of secret orders and brotherhoods bigger than your Creator? Whose report will you believe? How do you know that any of this is true concerning Moses' fabrication, the Ashkenazi Jew? There's a reason doubt is cast upon the existence of certain things concerning the Israelites. One reason aimed at me, and one reason aimed at you, my brother, with the same end game in mind, to cause unbelief, and gradually drift us into do as thou wilt, where we will fill in parts of the story that we feel do not fit the bill. Where we feel do not fit the bill, then we make adjustments. Do as thou wilt. And there's always been made men, brotherhood members, who are used to popularize and confuse things concerning the Jews. Something brotherhood peons have always done, and they always will. Okay? The teachers and leaders that you subscribe to, then scrub that, but don't deal with that. I got whole videos I built on it. Okay? I got the belt on it. For you, I may present this anonymously to the Matthew 24 Temple of the True Yahshua crew today, without naming you, of course, but only because your question, in fact, is one that many have but wouldn't, hadn't asked in such a well and sincerely worded manner. So you've helped someone today. Now, anger. Some of you dealing with anger too. Okay. It's Friday for some of you. Get fried day for others.
Y'all ready? That's all I got. Y'all
Okay.
ready? Is y'all ready? Is y'all ready? I'm not sure.
Now,
Y'all ready? What up, though?
anger. Be angry and sin not.
Yeah, what's that?
Look in the concordance for the word used there as anger. Next. No joke. Listen to Marvin Gaye's anger. It's Friday. People are geeked up. It's a free world. Next, no joke. Listen to Marvin Gaye's anger. He had issues with it. Often a negative effect of the air. Ephesians 2 and 2. During the season of Aries. Okay. Marvin was an Aries, but other fire signs too.
When is Deities leave?
All are susceptible to some manipulation by this demon spirit. Once it has entered by your own invitation, no one can make you mad, sad, glad, bad. They cannot add to you one jot or one jittle unless you let them in a little. The spirit of anger will bring with it some rather rowdy and reckless friends. Rage is his bigger bro, and he's really bout it. After your lady friend gets sick of you going all Incredible Hulk, the spirits of frustration, isolation, resentment, and that filthy fool fear will come and crash on your couch. Ouch. My suggestion is the book Stripes, Nails, Thorns, and the Blood, which I'm not getting no kickbacks for. I'm just really blown back. I also like Prayers That Rout Demons, which I find shows believers the best remedy for anger and every other issue in the tissue, and I'm still reading it. It never ceases to amaze. She's anointed and appointed for these last demonic days. Last but not least, another question you raised, Messiah's belief. To believe in Messiah, how can we not believe as Messiah believed? If we make up stuff to fill in blanks, we will be Gnostically deceived. Yes, I made that up. The Gnostics was deceived. They filled in all kind of blanks. make Jesus among their ranks. And they weren't the only ones to do it. Okay? Follow what the books say. Okay? You'll be led the right way. And they gonna steer you wrong, they'll steer you strong. So now I said, it's almost over. It was clear his ministry officially began by reading Isaiah 61. We call it Old Testament prophet of the highest degree. He quotes the OT, the Old Testament, all throughout. Enoch, Moses, Elias, Jonas, Solomon, Noah. He speaks on them all. Never denies their existence. How can you speak on it till you read it for yourself? Not only read it, but comprehend it. Then apply it. I can save you some trouble. I went the other way first. Had a bishop asked me, man, you got some mind-blowing stuff. Now, how long you been? I turned a true believer in 2003. It just shows you he's real. And if he can operate with me, he is real. I went the other way first, and it's a dead end, my friend. Follow the example of Messiah, who quoted, observed, and fulfilled the example of the prophets. Take it all, even the extra biblical texts, and study them, not with the assumption that, quote, this has to fit into my idea of logic, unquote, but humbly, and coming to the Father like a child, accepting that one day your logic will fit itself to be aligned with his thoughts, Isaiah 55:8. I hope this helped you somehow. And also this prayer for you. In the authority of the name of Jesus, I ask, Father, that you forgive us for our sins and hear our prayer. In the authority of the name of Jesus, Yeshua, Father, I ask on behalf of your servant that you loose them from the bondage of the demon of anger and all the spirits that came with it. And in the authority of the name of Jesus, I ask that your angels of might and healing come to aid your servant now and bind the demon spirits we named and cast them all down as one to remain in darkness, away from your servant and sent to be chained to wherever Messiah, Jesus, Yeshua HaMashiach, would have them to go forever. And I also ask, Father, that you loose angels to go and restore the broken, missing, fractured parts of your servant's soul, as is in your word, Psalm 23, which cannot return to you void, Isaiah 55:11, and that those angels speedily minister to your servant's needs and heals their will, mind, emotions, and memory, both subconscious and subconscious. And in the authority of the matchless name above every name, at which every knee must bow, Jesus, Yeshua HaMashiach, we touch via sight, lenses to light, because it was an email, in agreement. We believe it and therefore receive it, and it is so, and it is done. Right.
Whoever on Hard Knocks is who he's going to pick.
That is true.
Because he went Cincinnati's quarterback.
Yeah.
So that's that. Maybe I'll be right back. Time is looking kind of tight, but I can run through the list of songs. Just because this weekend you're gonna listen to some music, and I won't be back until Monday, more than likely. Technology free until Monday, more than likely. But we'll see. All right. Much love. Always. Shalom. Oh, almost forgot. Maybe I'll end with this prayer. If I can move fast. One more prayer. One more prayer, maybe. What's that? We're at 1 hour and 8. Okay, no, I'm gonna stop this one. I'll take the other prayer on to the next video if we get to it. All right. Much love.
I don't know.